Hey guys, I'm Sam.
And I'm Catherine.
And today we're going to get to speak to a very special guest star named Lauren O'Brien.
She's a leadership and Spanish major and a healthcare studies minor, and she's going to talk to us today about her work at the Sacred Heart Center.
Let's give it up for Lauren!
Welcome.
Oh my god, hello!
Hey guys.
So good to see you.
Okay. Hi everyone. So like they said, my name's Lauren, and unfortunately I'm unable to be with you all in real time tonight. I'm actually coincidentally volunteering at the Sacred Heart Center right now. So I'm there, but I hope you guys enjoy this little interview.
Yeah. So do you want to just start off and tell us about your work at the Sacred Heart Center and what you do?
Yeah, so I work at the Sacred Heart Center in the south side of Richmond, and that center was established as part of a church's program to help Latin American immigrants, or primarily Latin American immigrants, establish roots in Richmond. I work as a computer lab volunteer and in English as a second language teacher. So I work with the students there to help teach them English, teach computer skills, help them sort of acculturate to American culture, basically sort of find allies in the Richmond community who they can go to ask for help or for support, and be as sort of a first impression of what it's going to be like for them living in the United States.
Cool. Do you want to talk about any of the relationships you've made or stories you've heard?
Yeah, so I mean, it's been really interesting because in my time there, I started working there in January, and at first all the students are pretty shy and quiet. They don't really talk too much unless they get to know you. So over my time there, I've gotten to know a few of them really well. Just in our weekly English lessons. One person who really stuck out to me, her name was Andrea, and I met her the first day. I'm not sure where she's from, somewhere in Latin America, and she has to be probably in like her 60s or 70s, so she's a little bit old. And my first day there, I was sitting at my little desk waiting for a class to come in. She walks in with this huge smile on her face, and she's like, "Hi, I'm Andrea, it's so nice to meet you." She gives me 2 kisses and a big hug, and she tells me how happy she is to see me face at the Sacred Heart Center. And she told me that, you know, she really appreciates the fact that I'm volunteering there, and she was really excited to get to know me. So that was sort of my first impression that I got from the type of people I'd be working with, and it really just helped to set a very positive tone for my time there. Another woman I've gotten closer with, her name is Julia, and she's from Guatemala. She told me that she's lived in the U.S. for about 20 years, and she has 3 kids who all go to Huguenot High School, and she's really helped to, well, the English classes have really helped her to establish a root life in the United States. She's really grateful that people like myself have been able to volunteer with her. She really loves coming to class. She's learned a lot, and she was actually able to get a job using the computer skills that she learned at the Sacred Heart Center, which was a really special thing to know that our center really is making a lot of tangible impacts in people's life. Some of the harder stories that I've heard, though, there was a woman one day, she came in, and I was, you know, sitting at my desk waiting for a class to come in, and she had a private instructor, which happens sometimes if someone needs, I guess, a little bit of extra help, or if they're really, really new to the U.S. And she was reading with her instructor, and I realized that she's reading in Spanish. And I was like, okay, like, that's a little interesting that you're reading in Spanish. Like, you know, usually you're coming here to learn English, so I don't know, you know, why that might be happening. And she's learning how to pronounce words and sound things out, and I realized that actually she was learning how to read in Spanish. And actually she was illiterate before coming to the Sacred Heart Center. She had no experience with any formal sort of education, so the Sacred Heart Center was really helping her get on her feet, because tragically her husband had a workplace accident. He worked in construction and was injured on the job and ended up having basically to stop working, and she had come to the center initially because the U.S. government was sending their family workers' compensation for him so that he could get the health care he needed since he was hospitalized, and the funding they needed basically to stay in the U.S. So this horrible thing had happened to them after they had come to the U.S., and she didn't even know how to read. So she was already pretty paralyzed in terms of the fact that she was living in a foreign country, was very new to American life, didn't really know anybody here, and then also that she couldn't read, so she couldn't understand she didn't understand not only the English language, but also she didn't understand, how to read the papers that she had to fill out if she wanted to get the help that she needed. So that was really striking to me, just because I had never encountered somebody who, didn't know how to read. Growing up in American society, everyone enforces that we need to know how to read, and it's sort of just second nature. And we take the privilege we have of being able to go to school, I think, for granted sometimes. So that was a really big eye-opener for me. So those are just a few experiences that I had in working with people. But it's been really interesting just to sort of get a fuller picture of the immigrant community, especially in Richmond, because I think right now, particularly Latino immigrants have been very stigmatized by our government and by the Trump administration. So to be able to humanize them for myself and see them in a very positive way and get to know them and form organic relationships with them has really helped me to embrace my belief that immigrants are doing a lot of really wonderful things for our country, and they really do work hard, and they really want to have a prosperous life here. So